think a lot of us are so focused on being chosen that we don't even see the person that we're choosing. Maybe somebody we're not attracted to, somebody who we don't have similar values to, somebody who exhibits a lot of red flags. Being fixated on being chosen means that we put the blinkers on and we don't actually focus on doing the choosing, on being selective with who we let into our precious lives. It means that men can get away with not going to therapy, not working on themselves because women aren't being that picky. I just know so many wonderful women going out with men that don't treat them well, that don't take the time to be reflective and to better themselves because they don't really have to. Simply being chosen by men is enough for women to be like, this is worth pursuing. Whereas for men, they get to be far more picky. They get to actually gain so much from their relationships with women. Hello, my beautiful angels. I'm Alessia. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you have watched my other videos, today I want to get it into your head that you are not a prize for men. If you're a woman watching this, this is probably something that you have, a message that you've internalized from a very young age. You are so much more than your body, than your lips, than your eyes, than your hips, than your legs. You are so much more than your physicality. You're so much more than your giggle, your ladylike posture, your beauty. You are so much more than your performance of femininity. You are an intelligent, creative, funny, messy, emotional, interesting woman. You've gone through a lot. Am I right in saying that you've overcome so much and you've kind of, looking back, surprised yourself with how much you've been able to overcome? How many difficult times? Have you surprised yourself with your inner strength? Well, if you're nodding, internally or externally, I encourage you to realize that that's going to continue happening throughout your life. You are going to continue impressing yourself. You're going to continue having those moments where you go, oh wow, I did that. I didn't think I could, but I overcame that. I've impressed myself. I'm more intelligent than I thought I was. I'm more capable than I thought I was. I'm proud of myself. And your world will expand each time you realize these things. You have so much to do in this long life. So much to accomplish, so much not to accomplish. There is so much joy and peace and rest and mindfulness that you are going to tap into, that you are going to embrace and enjoy. Life has so much to offer you, and you are far more capable than you realize in this very moment. In time, you will see how capable you are. You will prove it to yourself, and you will grasp how beautiful your life can be. Life has so much more to offer you than being chosen by a man, by Mr. Right, by Prince Charming. I want you to think about how beautiful life can be. All the things that can make you feel happy and joyful that don't include romantic connection. I really want you to fill your mind with all these visuals for a moment. There's deep sisterhood, getting involved in your local community, getting lost in your favourite book at your favourite park. There's creating podcasts or YouTube videos or art from the heart, sharing your ideas with the world, your authentic ideas, the ideas that really just excite you. There's the simple pleasure of good food, pizza, pasta. There's our ability to self-pleasure. We don't need a man to orgasm. life is pretty fruitful. There's an abundance of joy to be had. There's an entire world to love. Yet patriarchy has brainwashed and socialized us as women to believe that fulfillment can only come from being chosen by a man. We really are taught as women to believe that fulfillment can only really come from being with a man, having a baby, marriage, all these traditional stepping stones. And it's no wonder, because that serves patriarchy, capitalism, men, all these things that have been dictating people's lives for centuries. I will be happy when he chooses me. I will be happy when I'm beautiful enough. What if you choose yourself? And what if you accept that you're never going to be beautiful enough? The beauty standards change because that's how money is made. One moment having big lips is the trend. The next moment having a more natural, no makeup look is the trend. The point is that change means you have to buy new products, go through different procedures, do different things, spend your money differently. But the point is you have to spend the money. Wouldn't we feel so much better if we felt like we had more control as women? That we weren't waiting for men to choose us, and we didn't wait to feel beautiful. For so long, I wanted to change how I looked, to perfect how I looked, so I could please men. And it meant that I always felt out of control, because even if I was working so hard on looking beautiful, there would always be a comment from a man that brought me down and made me feel rubbish and made me feel far from beautiful. And that stripped me of my joy, and it stripped me of my confidence and self-esteem. To be chosen by a man. Subconsciously, this was my goal for years. It was my dream. It was my end destination. I didn't one day sit down and say to myself, this is what I want. It wasn't a deliberate choice or a thought out goal, but rather something that was ingrained in me from a very young age. Before I could question all of this, it was kind of already cemented in my head. I'd watched all the movies that had made me think, I need to be this beautiful prize for men. I'd seen interactions between men and women in which women were kind of reduced down to their looks, treated poorly if they weren't beautiful. All these ideas that I needed to be this beautiful object for men were cemented from such an early age. And I'm sure it's the same for you. It doesn't mean that these things are cemented forever. You know, if we're aware and we actively work to deprogram these beliefs, we can no longer hold on to them tightly. But it is work, it does take effort. And that sucks. But hey, it brings us together as women. That's why I love this channel. We're all working together to like ourselves and allow space for our humanness. And we're supporting each other. So thank you for being a part of that. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a bit, I really do see you. And if you're not already subscribed, please do. It really does mean the world to me. I really wanted to be the beautiful one. The one the man chose and was excited to own. I was happy to be his prize, his reward. I didn't care about how I felt about him. It wasn't that I was excited to be with him being any half-decent man. It was that I was excited on his behalf. And I think as women, it's so easy to see ourselves through the eyes of the men that we're trying to attract. It's so easy to get caught up in, oh, I can appreciate myself when he appreciates me. And when I see that and feel that, then I'll feel enough. And often this gets us into situations with men that we don't even particularly like or feel close to. Today, right now, thousands and thousands of women are glamorizing in their heads being chosen by a man. like I've done for years of my life. This isn't because women are wired like this. It's not because women just randomly one day decided that they wanted to be chosen by men. It's not women's fault, and pointing at women and calling them desperate or attention seeking or a pick-me girl is very counterproductive. We should be pointing at patriarchy and culture and film and everything that has socialized women to orientate themselves around men and being a beautiful kind of object for men. Why do women feel this way? What's the root issue? What's the cause of this? So quickly people point at women and blame women, and I'm fed up of it. We've been the brunt of so much negativity and violence and anger, and it's time that that stops. We have been brainwashed as women, and I know this sounds quite severe, but we have been slowly molded to put men on a pedestal, put their opinions on a pedestal, to see ourselves as an object of desire, to see ourselves as a project to perfect, a sculpture that needs to look sexy. We've learnt that to be chosen by a man means to be successful. If you just think about it now in your head, what does that mean to you more deeply? I'm sure some of these ideas will come up. Oh, it means to be happy. It means to feel worthy. If he recognizes how great I am and wants to make me his girlfriend, then I must be enough. As women, we wait for men to make us feel good enough. We wait for men to say, "You're wifey material. I'm going to marry you one day." And we think that that moment is the moment in which all our insecurities disappear and suddenly our self-esteem skyrockets and we feel great and confident and we accept ourselves and love ourselves. And we think this because it's been put in our heads that this is what's going to happen. It's the movies that we watch growing up as little girls that tell us that the route to feeling worthy, to being a successful woman, is not a route that you take on your own, but rather with a man. He guides you. He makes you feel good. The movies that we watch growing up as young girls, or at least the movies that I watched growing up, taught me that I should wait for a man. And isn't that great for men and patriarchy? Because it makes women passive. It means that we wait for men to find us rather than finding ourselves. It means that we are convinced that our value lies in just simply being chosen by a half-decent man. And I use the term half-decent because I think a lot of us are so focused on being chosen that we don't even see the person that we're choosing and letting into our lives. Maybe somebody we're not attracted to, somebody who we don't have similar values to, somebody who exhibits a lot of red flags. Being fixated on being chosen means that we put the blinkers on and we don't actually focus on doing the choosing, on being selective with who we let into our precious lives. It means that men can get away with not going to therapy, not working on themselves because women aren't being that picky. And I'm not saying that every woman is like this, I'm speaking so generally, and please take everything I say with a pinch of salt, but I just know so many wonderful women going out with men that don't treat them well, that don't take the time to be reflective and to better themselves because they don't really have to. Simply being chosen by men is enough for women to be like, this is worth pursuing. Whereas for men, they get to be far more picky. They get to actually gain so much from their relationships with women. I realise that movies and culture and the media in general is shifting. You know, women aren't explicitly being encouraged to wait to be chosen by Mr. Right. They're now being pushed to be a girl boss in the meantime. whilst Mr. Right is doing his thing. But ultimately, women are still being pointed in the wrong direction and told that they're heading towards happiness and fulfillment. I don't think work success alone is going to liberate us as women. I'm sure you agree with me. Being a girl boss isn't the answer to all our problems. Neither is relying on a man. These are just two really extreme ideas. They're black and white. You're either a girl boss or you are dedicated to family life and being chosen by a man and being the perfect, beautiful woman. Which one do you want to be? Well, actually, I think I want to be in the middle, in the grey area. I want a loving relationship. I want to do work that I enjoy and really put my all into it. I want a combination of the two and more. The girl boss narrative is very much about being productive and all about your career and not caring about your relationships, about your mental health, but just caring about hustling hard and pouring it all into being chosen by a man is very much about abandoning the self and what feels deeply right for you in order to be partnered with somebody. Both of these things leave no room for our humanity and for nuance. And that's such a common thing that I have experienced as a woman and that I've seen other women experiencing, being dehumanized and being told you can either be this or this, instead of a bit of both and a bit of this and a bit of that. We're just not allowed the space to be complicated as women. And as soon as we show up complicated, we're confusing, we're a problem. People want to put women in boxes. You're either a mother and a loving partner, or you're a woman addicted to her work and a dragon. What if we can't label women as either this or that? What if they're hard to label? Well, then we have to do more work to understand the women and chat to them. And of course, people don't want to do that, generally speaking. For me, fulfillment and joy and a beautiful life doesn't come from being a girl boss and being a CEO and being a millionaire, and it doesn't come from finally being chosen by a man. It comes from a variety of things that I seek out for myself. It comes from deeply understanding myself through doing therapy and journaling and meditation and solo walks in nature. It comes from aligning with my values and my passions and my interests. It comes from building healthy, meaningful, deep connections with other women. It means having connections with fellow LGBTQ+ individuals. It means living a slower, more gentle existence. And it means creating work, art, videos, written pieces from the heart that evoke love and peace in others. That's what fulfillment means to me. That's how I'm actively showing up for myself, by pursuing all of these things, rather than just passively waiting for a man to choose me. And hey, if you've been doing that, I'm not judging you at all, because I did that for a long time. I lacked identity and I kind of waited on the sidelines to be saved. And I knew no better. Nobody told me, if you start working on your mental health, on feeling connected in your body, on learning new things and leaning into your curiosities, then you'll feel good. I wasn't really put on that path. You don't have to ditch men or completely deprioritize romantic love. I'm not saying that this is the way forward, because this is not what I'm doing. I know romantic relationships with others, with men, can be deeply healing and beautiful, and they can really add to our lives. And I think it's a great goal, to aspire to being in love, to having a healthy partnership is wonderful and it's beautiful and it's nothing to be ashamed of at all. I want a loving relationship with another, but the point is, I also want to be able to feel love for myself simultaneously. I don't want to have to shape myself around being beautiful for men. I don't want to adapt who I am so I can be chosen. I want someone to love me whilst I'm loving myself, and vice versa. I want not to be chosen, but to be found as I am by someone I truly like and respect. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope that it made you see yourself in a far more complicated, nuanced light. You are a human being with so much about you. You're so much more than your body, your face. Allow space for all that delicious complexity. Thank you so much for sitting with me, Angel. Do subscribe and leave me a little comment, share your thoughts with me, and I'll see you soon with another video.